He's Warren Sapp, one of our favorites from the NFL Network, back on the show. What did you see last night, big man?
Not much. Not much. I mean, when you're not going to stop a team from going up and down the football field, scoring points at the pace they were scoring. Oh, my God. And then they do have a pretty good pass rusher. Charles Johnson can rush the passer, but after you pay a dude $70-something million and you win 2 games, hey, if they paying like that and we ain't winning, I mean.
Well, you also have the Giants on the road, and they're
banged up and everything. Yeah.
But that's the game for Carolina to say, we want you to look at us as a legitimate playoff team. We've beaten the Saints. Now the Giants are coming to town. And then to have a performance like that, that was really surprising. I'm not surprised Giants won. I'm surprised they won as handily as they did.
I am too. And then to be able to put the ball on the ground and run it with the kid, I was like, come on. Carolina, come on, man. You're sitting at home waiting on a team to come on the road on a short week. Give me a break. And
Eli Manning, I liken him to Tim Duncan. I don't know if you see.
The big fundamental.
Yeah, just, he's not exciting, the most exciting guy.
Yeah, he just gets it done,
yeah. He's not the first guy you're going to pick, but game on the line, you certainly like.
Eli. In the fourth quarter, Eli would be your guy, yes.
Did you question Peyton Manning's arm strength at all when you watched him against Falcons?
Yes. You saw some ducks. You saw balls you normally don't see from Peyton Manning. And then the pick after pick after pick. I mean, were you at home thinking the same thing I was thinking?
Well, I did, and it didn't seem like anybody else was willing to say this. Everybody focused on the replacement officials, and I just said he doesn't complete anything 20 yards downfield.
Ain't nothing down the field.
Yeah.
He's not a threat to go deep, so now you can sit on the routes, put pressure on him. I mean, you got to make him show us he can make those throws.
And I know the Texans coming to town, and Peyton is supposed to be upset and angry, and this will be a big game. It's the kind of game that Peyton Manning wins, and then we forget all about it.
Well, we're about to see, because this isn't the old Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
he has to prove it to us, because I remember sitting there and he said, "I'll be ready to go," and we all went, "Yeah, Peyton will be ready to go." Peyton wasn't ready to go. But
who do you think has more to prove in this game? The Texans or Peyton Manning?
You know what? Peyton Manning does, because the Texans' season will not hinge on this ball game right here.
He's Warren Sapp from the NFL Network joining us on the show. Sean Lee getting hit by Golden Tate.
Give me a break. First of all, DeMarcus Ware with 101 sacks let the quarterback out of the pocket by spin moving inside, rolling over both D tackles. He's all the way from the left tackle all the way over to the right guard, and now they don't have contain with a mobile quarterback. Blame DeMarcus Ware. Don't blame Golden Tate, because I'm going to protect my quarterback if he's running. Sean Lee's coming.
But do you have any problem with the hit? I mean, he was fined on the play. Should he have been fined?
$1,000.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Now, the one with me and Chad Clifton, we're away from the plate. Now, if that happens today, yes. That one with Golden Tate and Sean Lee, hey, Sean Lee, you better look around there, little fella. You ain't fast and ain't gaining on the quarterback. You better look.
What were you fined for the Chad Clifton hit?
Nothing.
If you were playing today and you had that hit?
Oh, God, I wouldn't even imagine. I might get a game or two.
Did you ever talk to Chad Clifton about that hit?
No, we shook hands. It's 2 linemen in the trenches. We looked at each other. He stuck his hand out, I dapped him, and we played football. I saw that man. I think I played him three times after that. Yeah, 3.
But never came up?
I never talked to an offensive lineman. For what?
Why? It's one of those where it was away from the play. And I think that's where people were critical of it.
Okay.
That it wasn't I know what you're going to say to me, but it was away from the play. It wasn't impact.
I look back at it 10 years after the fact, Dan, and say, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that part. But you can't vilify me for it.
Oh, no, I'm
That's
just...
the whole point. You want to turn me into a criminal because I was on a football field playing football.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Now they want to do this to Golden Tate.
Well, don't celebrate if you're Golden Tate. That you
Why
hit
not?
Oh, come on, Warren. He was.
This is a game of emotion, a game.
Oh, please.
Please, Dan, when you you were on there going Fuego and wilding and thought you were only talking to 10 people in the world, you were doing it because that was your thing, right?
But I knew not to overshadow a play. If I had a good highlight, then I had some fun for that. And if they wanted to find me for over-celebrating a highlight I was doing on the mothership, fine.
That don't even sound right, does it? Over-celebrate the highlight.
on ESPN, it doesn't. But, okay. But I'm hitting Sean Lee. He doesn't even know I'm there, and I'm going to celebrate that I popped him? Oh, come on, Warren.
All right. Chuck Bednarik hits Frank Gifford and clobbers him in the greatest game ever, stands over the top of him, and you've all seen that shot pointing at him and pretty much punching at him. We want our shot. We want our to last for 50 years, too.
Okay, here's another problem. Cam Newton celebrating. They're down 23-0, and he does his Superman thing.
These kids that play the game today have no relevance for the past, have no conscience of what it is. I mean, Brandon Marshall talking about Shannon Sharp. Who is he to talk? He's the first 100-catch receiver back-to-back, retard. What you just did in Denver for 3 years. You don't know this? No, of course he doesn't, because it's not about Brandon Marshall. It ain't about Shannon Sharp. It ain't about the past. It's about me, because it's about personal success, pay me, and now I'll think about being a team guy.
RG3 had something to say after the game against the Rams.
Listen, man.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Warren. Warren, hold on. I want the audience to hear. Here's RG3.
There was some extracurricular stuff going on after the plays. They were doing a lot of dirty things. I still think they have an extremely good team. That doesn't take anything away from them. But the game was unprofessional. Who am I to talk? I've barely been a pro for very long. But from what I experienced against the Saints compared to that game, it was definitely unprofessional, and it does need to be cleaned up. It's something you can respond to, but you don't go into a game saying, well, if they're going to let it go, we got to be the first ones to do it. You don't do it that way. It's just something you can respond to, and hopefully, going against the Bengals, they'll be a lot more professional. They made it a point, obviously all week, to hit me, and some of the shots were cheap and of that nature.
What do you think?
I watched it. I didn't want him to say it. I mean, Mike Shanahan, 2 winners of Super Bowl, one of the most respected coaches throughout the history of the game. Why isn't he in the forefront protecting his quarterback? He went out and gave up 2 draft picks, moved up in the draft to go get him, but now he's going to be the one that's saying this?
But do you agree with him?
I tweeted it as I was sitting there watching the game. I said, are they going to keep letting this man hit RG3 like this? I mean, one time he let the ball go. The guy had him in his arms and took him all the way to the ground and fell on top of him. I looked around the room, and it was just me in my room, and I said, I got to call somebody. They suspended me 3 games. I would have did that.
I think that he was right in his perception of it. He was wrong in voicing it.
That's what I said. He shouldn't have been the one in the forefront doing this. Shanahan, Kyle, where are y'all? Y'all had Elway and Schaub. I mean, come on.
Your big surprise this weekend is going to be who?
Arizona.
You bought into the Cardinals.
I didn't buy into the Cardinals. I know Calais Campbell and Donnell Dockett eat up both A gaps and both B gaps, and Philadelphia couldn't block Little Warren, and he just started playing defensive line. So I looked at these 2 monsters, and I have to tell you this: Dockett told me Cobb's got that look in his eye, and he was in the film room on Monday, and he's never there on Monday.
So Arizona goes to 3-0 as they beat the Eagles.
Oof. You know what? It's just one of those weeks, man.
It's always one of those weeks. It's every week, Warren.
Listen, but when I sat down, I said, I got to look at the Arizona Cardinals. I said, I got to see this. Some plays in there scare me because it's just, they're just unfundamental in certain places. But the D coordinator's doing a good job, and those 2 hogs inside they eating right now.
Good to visit with you as always, big man.
Always, man.
All right. Thank you, Warren. Warren Sapp, NFL Network.